Ayo. Hello. Welcome to the Freitas Effect.
Freaking Freitas Effect.
Freaking Freitases.
I am your co-host, Azeb Freitas.
And I am your co-host, Simon Freitas.
Welcome back.
We are fucking here.
Sweet. So before we do anything else, our topic for the week is sleepovers.
Sleeping. Over.
Yeah, so the reason why we picked this topic was because sleepovers are something that people eventually encounter at any time of their life. Whether or not you've ever experienced one, or if you have been to a million, that's on you, or your parents. But yeah, we decided we wanted to talk about sleepovers. So, Simon, how are ya?
You know, I'm pretty good. I had a pretty stressful night, so I'm really surprised that I'm as, energized as I am today.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We're just riding the wave. How about you?
Riding the motherfucking wave. It was a rainy day. I finished Stranger Things. I got as much work. Honestly, this is the first time I worked from home and actually got a lot of work done, so I'm really proud of me.
You got work done and finished Stranger Things.
And worked from home. Yes, it's possible.
I'm so proud.
Thank you. I only had 3 episodes left, and I cried, and it's okay because I'm not going to spoil it. That's it.
Yeah, just that whole ending, I was just
But we're not going to talk about it because we're not going to ruin it for everyone who's listening.
Constant, man.
But yeah, just you saw my videos.
Yeah, it was that honestly kept me going at the gym. I'd be doing reps and I'd be like, okay, now I get 10 more seconds of Azeb's video.
I literally, the last 10 minutes of that show, I was just there's so many emotions.
It was so much. It's so good, guys. And honestly, we might just be part of the bandwagon, but I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't care. It's great fucking writing. Get over it. Suck it up. You know how there are those shows where it's I just watch this shit because everybody watches it. It's no, this is actually a good fucking show, so watch it, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
So maybe in the future we'll do a debrief or something, but I just don't want to ruin it for people because I feel it's still too soon.
We'll give you a little bit of time. But any homestead of, we ready to get into this next segment?
Get it, boy.
So, now, it is time. I don't know where the voice came from, but it's here for How the Turns Have Tabled. Oh my goodness. I am doing it, I believe. Okay, so, How the Turns Have Tabled, this story is about my first sleepover. So I doubt this was my first actual sleepover. This was the first time though that I was sleeping over.
No, this was your first sleepover, yeah.
No, but I mean sleeping over a friend's house. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just cousins and family and that kind of thing.
I think you sleeping over someone else's house.
That you met this person, you decide I'm staying the night. Yeah. It's all your plan.
Okay.
So it was a friend of mine from 3rd grade. We are not even close anymore. He ended up staying back, so rip. But I chose to stay over his house just some random fucking weekend, and I brought my turtle over because we were talking about how that'd be cool. And then I brought my turtle, and he got really fucking scared of my turtle. Mind you, this was Killer. I now have 2 turtles. They're fucking Relic because we're doing the opposite of what we did with Killer. Killer was a fucking menace.
He was wild, but he was so much fun.
Yeah, and then there's Monty, who's just Killer Part 2.
Yeah, but Killer kept us on our toes.
Yeah, that's Monty right now.
Monty's fucking wild.
Monty's literally crazy. But so I had to send my turtle home with my dad, and then I spend the night at his house, and it's just. It's a Haitian household. There was chicken, rice, and beans for dinner, and then just I
didn't know the details of this story. I just remember what the ending. But go ahead. You keep
going. We're getting very close to how the turns have tabled. So it's a 2005 night. YouTube had just come out, so I'm just being shown YouTube for the first time.
How old were you in 2005?
I was 8. I was turning 9,
so I was
and. We laid in bed, and I said goodnight, and I said goodnight, and then 5 minutes later, I just sat up and was yeah, I gotta go home. Can you fucking imagine?
Far from us. He lives down the street.
Yeah, but I immediately just called Dad because we had cell phones at that time.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, the Nokia.
But it was the indestructible cell phones.
Yeah.
It was the ones that had the buttons and you could throw it on the ground. It would never.
It would. Yeah, if you dropped it on the toilet, it'd break the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, my dad immediately came and fucking picked me up, and he was pissed. But I was just not feeling it, and That's what happens sometimes because you just not feeling it. You gotta speak up, bitches. But yeah, that was.
You also used to be like terrified of the dark.
I was.
And this
I
was your
so
first time
fucking
not
afraid
sleeping at home.
of everything.
And, or at least like not at a family member's house, I guess.
If I didn't.
And y'all are boys.
Yo, yeah, we were like
That's
wicked close.
Like,
so
Simon's coming home already.
Yeah. I was just a little bitch.
I don't even know why I was awake. I think I was awake because Dad was like, I have to go pick up your brother. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah. Woof. Little bitch Simon. But we have
Baby
grown.
bitch
Like. But
But you have moved on. You've had plenty of sleepovers since then.
Oh, yeah. Especially. So, do we want to get into the plan?
I mean, we have to. It's like iconic.
Oh, my God. I love the plan.
The plan.
So, the plan, I will let Azeb start to explain it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it started whenever, like, we had, like, let's rewind back to the beginning. Simon and I, we used to live in an apartment building, and literally all of our cousins took over the apartment building. So
it was
there was, like, 7
Ethiopian
apartments,
Central.
and every single one of our family members lived in one of the apartments. So it was like basically our family house.
It was awesome.
And it was funny because growing up, like our first cousins, Abi and Rai, lived across the stairs, I guess, from us.
Across the hall.
They were in apartment 5 and we were apartment 6, and we would always like play games with Abi and shit when he was like a baby. Well, whatever, not a baby, toddler, I guess, whatever.
Well, even when he was a baby.
Yeah. So he would like come over and like sleep over our house or our apartment. And then when our parents would go to bed, we'd be like, all right, word, here's the plan. The plan was always to somehow sneak out to get snacks at the convenience store. So we would like have like $5, which
dude, we
like
would have
$20.
maybe $3.
Yeah,
and then like a
word,
fuck ton of pennies.
Buns. And then we were like honey buns, zebra cakes.
Yep.
Like all of the shittiest shit.
If we could afford French fries, we'd get like a large fry.
Yeah, we would order like shit from Main Street Pizza.
We'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
like how much they've seen us grown up. So, yeah, our plan was always like somebody get the keys from the back of Dad's truck so that we can get back in the house.
Oh my God,
and then
we
we like hid our money in the back of Dad's truck and then would run to the convenience store and then would get the food and then run back. And then somehow we would always get back inside the house because somebody was always waiting to press the door to buzz the button to let us back in, even though we had keys, just in case.
It was just, yeah.
And this is like before we like used cell phones.
Well,
we were
Dad,
just like, fuck cell phones. We're just gonna do this.
Yeah, but Dad's keys also had like 65 fucking keys on it, so it's just like I can't read this. Like,
but yeah, so that was the plan, and the plan usually evolved over time, but that's where it originated. Whether we were at our house or then after Abi moved out, Abi's house, which was significantly harder to do because he like low-key lived in the hood.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, if you sneak out at a certain point of time, then like Mindy and Fissin would know, and it would be like, oh, this is awkward.
Yeah.
So
And then even we would like
older cousins, so it's like worse.
And we'd like try to sneak out and then just be like, no, we can't do this. Like, Jesus didn't die for this.
But I feel like everybody had some kind of version of the plan. If you did have a version of the plan, we would love to hear it. Please like email us at thefreydesteffect@gmail.com. We'll share it on our next episode or in future episodes. Just because like it's funny to hear like what other people used to do at sleepovers. If you had like a quote unquote plan.
Well, even
or,
the
like,
plan,
you know,
yeah, like the plan
always
wouldn't
have to be about like getting snacks.
But the plan didn't always have to be at sleepovers. Like we would just be at church, and like we'd just be it'd be like the teachings going on, but we don't speak Amharic, so it'd be like outside, and then like the three of us would just find each other, and one of us would go plan, and we'd be like, "How much money do you got?" And then it's just like whipping out nickels and shit. Like, all right, we can get 2 honey buns, and there's 3 of us, so we gotta figure it out.
Obsessed with honey buns.
Yeah, I blame Abi. Abi was really the proprietor of honey buns.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sponsor him.
Young Neezy.
But yeah, so that was the plan.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into some of our personal experiences with sleepovers. So like, why do we have sleepovers, Simon? Why do we do them?
So
well, at least why do you think so?
I feel like it's changed as we've gotten older. I feel like as a kid, it's more of like, oh, well, you're my friend and, you know, we're really close, so the next thing that we're going to do is have a sleepover and spend a night together and do some crazy shit.
It's like a defining moment in a friendship of what differentiates you from, you're my friend that I hang out with at school. You're my friend that I hang out with after school. You're my friend that I have sleepovers with.
Yeah.
Which means, like, I welcome you into my home to feel comfortable enough to sleep in my house and see what my house is like after hours.
Yeah.
Or, like, to join for dinner and then to stay over. Especially, like, in an Ethiopian household, I feel like when, like, you invite people over to sleep over, it's like, okay, you're here, you're gonna see everything. You're gonna see the culture, you're gonna see, like, what goes down with whatever
you're gonna get it all.
Yeah. Whereas, like, when you sleep over, like, a white person's house, it's usually like, okay, here's dinner, and then the parents leave you alone for, like, the rest of the night.
Oh, no.
And it's like, bro, at our house, no one would ever leave you alone. Mom would always be coming in like, you guys need anything? And then be like, no, Mom, we want to watch movies. Leave us alone. You know, but I mean, maybe
they get
that
excited.
would happen at an American household, but, like, I don't know, like, not American.
I feel like when I'm with, like, Ethiopian moms especially, they're just like, I want to make sure that this person's happy because then they'll be my, like, you know, my kid's good friend, and then like, you know, it'll be better in life. But
yeah, true. It's always about leaving an impression and being a good host.
But
and what they're gonna say back to their parents.
Facts.
Reputation is, like, such a big deal.
True.
Yeah.
Egos. But what I was gonna say was, like, so I feel like it evolves as you get older. I remember it changed when I was in high school to if you were drinking at someone's house, then their parents, especially if their parents were either there or, like, whatever adult running the household who was providing alcohol to minors, would just be like, you can't. Yeah, they'd be like, I got a few.
Oh, well.
I mean, yeah. Well, it'd mostly be like an older sibling or something. But they'd just be like,
knew about it?
if their parents were, like, alive or that kind of situation.
Totally different experience.
But
okay, go for it.
What I was gonna say was, like that kind of thing where it'd be you have to stay the night, because if you're out and you're a minor and you are drinking, then, you know, someone's gonna get in trouble for it. Especially, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that evolves into when you can legally fucking drink. I do not promote illegal fucking shit happening. I would just like to say that as a legality for some fucking reason. I don't know who's listening, but you're there. Don't fuck me up. But so it turns into, like, you can't drink and drive. Like, you know, once like driving gets involved, then it's like, yeah, you have to sleep over my house because you've had like 3 beers.
When did this start happening for you? Like junior, senior year?
Yeah, junior year.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, I was thinking about this the other day about how, like, me and you didn't have cars, like, in high school. Because
we still don't have cars, Azeb.
You're just listen to me. See where I'm going with this. So we didn't have cars in high school because obviously we lived literally like 20 minutes away from the high school in terms of walking, and Everett is like 4 square feet area wise. So, like, okay, whatever, 4 square miles. I know.
Whatever, 2 miles?
Forgive
I don't
me.
know.
Same shit.
Figure
but anyways, yeah, we didn't have cars. So, like, we would always, like, ride our bikes, and Dad was always like, don't ride and drink, or whatever his saying is. I forget what it is. Like, friends don't let others, like...
Oh, friends don't let friends drink and drive?
Yes. But bikes. It just made me think, like, how a lot of, like, my friends didn't really have cars because it was like, dude, what's the point of having cars? Or, like, you know in those movies when you watch movies where they're like, oh my god, this person pulled up in their, like, Toyota whatever in, like, 1975. And it's just, like, not cool. And then there's, like, the Twilight kids who, like, pull up in their, like, Teslas. But, like, you know what I'm saying? There's, like, people who actually did drive their cars to school and park in the school parking lot. And it's like, dude, you live 5 minutes away. Why are you driving your car unless you have to, like, go work at Hollister at Square One Mall after school?
I mean, that was the life sometimes.
Which was a thing, but, like, still. You know what I mean? It was just very, like...
Well, I remember even people
so
would show
small.
up in,
what
like...
Is the point?
People would show up in, like, mom vans, and I'd be like, you have a fucking car? Like, they'd just be
facts.
the coolest
person
person
it would
on
be like, oh, you still have a car, though.
Yeah, like...
Because we live in such a, like, conveniently able to travel.
Yeah, I mean, we have the...
Like,
as shitty as it is,
shit, you know,
like, the MBTA,
honestly, it was way more fun commuting to school, like, riding the bus, because you would see all your friends.
Yeah.
And it would, not like a school bus, like the MBTA.
No, the actual,
so you would
like,
hop
110,
on, like, the 110 or something and see
Yeah.
everybody. Especially, like, your friends who didn't live in Everett, but they lied that they they were living in Everett, so
Oh
you
my
would see them on the
God,
bus
yeah.
hella early, and you'd be like, "What's good?" And like, then the bus would like have some kind of malfunction at like Broadway, and then like you would have to yell. At
Oh
the
my
bus
God.
driver.
Yep. Because they wouldn't
Still,
open the
it's just
fucking
funny
doors,
how
and they would
the
just like
MBTA
sit.
Still sucks to
Yeah.
this day.
Facts, man.
You heard us.
Yeah.
You
I
feel it.
just
You
look at my Twitter, guys. Like, all I do is slash down the MBTA.
But yeah, there was a reason I was going there. Oh, yeah, I guess my point was, like, I feel like when people had cars in high school, at least where we went to high school, it was more to just, like, to get drunk or to be able to, like, drive to Revere Beach. You know what I mean? Like,
it was just to go places.
yeah. I mean, well, like, obviously the purpose of a car, but
yeah,
like,
but I mean, like, go places that, like, I don't know, like,
I don't know, for
where,
my
like,
friends, it was like if you had a car and you were sleeping over someone's house, like, you most likely weren't going to drive your car to somebody's house. You were probably just going to walk because they didn't live too far from you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were thinking logically, or unless you were stupid. You were like, I'm going to drink and drive. Blah, blah, blah. You know? But, I
Yeah.
mean, that's all you. Whatever
I
your
mean,
plans
some
were.
people, yeah.
I mean, if you're still alive, you made it.
Yeah, it's
Stupid
just,
decisions,
I
but
don't
that's
know.
on you.
Yeah, no, drinking and driving is never fucking good.
Yeah, facts.
But that's why we have sleepovers sometimes.
I mean, that's what sleepovers are for.
Sleepover party.
Yeah.
So back to this fucking topic.
Sorry.
Yeah. Where are we?
When does it stop being a big deal, Simon?
When does it stop being a big deal?
I don't know. I feel like it depends if it was a big deal. Ever.
Yeah.
Because do you know those memes, or not even those memes, just YouTube videos or just videos in general, where there's like people who are talking about like the difference between asking someone to sleep over your house versus you asking to sleep over someone else's house. And like, I remember seeing these videos like growing up of like, I don't even know who, just like making fun of like Ethiopian culture and being like, oh, you ask your parent to like sleep over somebody's house, and they're like, why you need to sleep over at their house? You have too many friends. You have cousins. You don't need friends. You have cousins. And it's like, that's why you have your brother and sister. You know, it's just like, that's usually the reaction.
Yeah.
It's like such a big difference when you're like, I'm sleeping over homeboy's house, or I'm sleeping over my friend's house that you've known since I've grown up with them since kindergarten, but they'll still just be like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, what's over there that you don't have here? It's like, yo, change of scenery, shit.
Seriously.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, they just wanna protect you all the time. But
when do you feel like it stops being a big deal?
I feel like it stops being a big deal for me to like ask to sleep over someone's house when we're like outside of high school, because I feel like in high school parents are more like worried about like if you. I had a lot of friends that were girls, so like it'd be like, oh, make sure you keep the door open. Oh, this kind of thing.
Real.
Like, yeah, it's just like. And even I remember I was watching Forrest Gump with my friend Steph, and her mom fucking just like randomly barged into the room, and she's like, how are you guys doing? And we were like, we're good. How you doing? And she just kind of like looks around, and she's like, I'm good. And then she like leaves and shuts the door a little bit, and we're like, what the fuck did she think was happening? Like, it's just some box of chocolates. But yeah, I feel like it stopped being a big deal when like people became when we're legally adults, and it's just okay. Well,
it's funny because when I was in high school, there was a point where I just stopped asking, and I just said, I'm sleeping over Kellen's house, or I'm sleeping over Camilla's house, or whatever, like I'm sleeping over Janae's. But like, never in my life have I ever been like, I'm sleeping over a boy's house, right? Like, literally never. I would never. Whereas, like, I don't even think I've ever had a boy sleep over our house while I was in high school. So, like, sorry. So, okay, I was going to ask you, have you ever had a co-ed sleepover, and at what point did you? But, I mean, as you said, you had
I had a lot of friends that were girls. Yeah.
So mom and dad just trusted you to be able to, like, sleep over girls' houses?
Yep.
That's fucking wild. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I had a boy sleepover was probably my ex-boyfriend, which is really shocking because you would never think that, like, mom and dad would let me, like, have my ex sleepover, who was my boyfriend at the time, but not my ex now.
I mean, I'd say that would...
Not my boyfriend
probably be like the first time that it was that mom and dad knew. Like, like we've definitely had parties at the house that people have like slept over.
Oh,
so
well, yeah, that was like when they were not there.
Yeah.
Which, let's just give you guys a disclaimer. Our parents know about all of these parties that we've had at our house. And for those who have attended these parties, now you know our parents are fully aware that all of them have had.
They've seen the under part of our table.
They have. Oh, they have? Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yes, they have. So we
I
moved.
Well, I wasn't there when
Yeah,
that was
we
happening.
flipped the table and they were like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Our friends."
Said, history has history.
I'm like, just read it.
2013. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of co-ed sleepovers, I mean, I don't think I've ever slept over a boy's house. No, I don't think I really have. I mean, well, now is different, obviously, because I'm a grown-ass woman and an adult. But I mean, like in high school or under, like maybe, like not even. No, I didn't. No, but you did.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. What was that like, other than like storming in the rooms and shit?
I don't know. It just kind of was like.
Oh yeah, because you were like.
Sometimes it sucked because like if there were like multiple girls and then just fucking me, then sucks. Like there would be shit that like I couldn't really be a part of, or like they would all share one bed, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna go to, and then they're like, you have to go to the other fucking room, and I'm like, well, that's logical, but fuck, like, and then they'd be like literally kicking me off the bed, and I'd be like, I get it, guys, but yeah, I think that would be. I mean, also just you and I have dealt with this, just like getting ready in the morning, how like when I was younger, I didn't have hair. I didn't have anything I really had to deal with. So, just like girls usually take a longer time.
I mean, I guess. It depends on what girl you're with.
Well, as a guy, I literally am just told, like, okay, cool. Just put the same fucking kind of cream in your hair, your face, your whole ass body. Drink it.
No.
Like, it's like the 3-for-1 men's fucking hair, shampoo, and dog.
You just said it all.
Yeah, like... You want to shower with your dog?
You know what that
Fuck
is?
it.
Capitalism!
Yeah! But back to sleepovers.
But yeah, back to sleepovers. That's real.
It is.
Okay. So, like, there's a question here that says, what's the difference between having a sleepover and someone crashing on your couch?
Okay.
There's a significant difference, bro.
Yes. There's a huge difference. Because someone can be crashing on your couch for, like, a couple nights or, like, a few months. And like
facts. Like that's not a sleepover. How long is the sleepover?
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? What? I remember when we would always like host people like from Ethiopia, like our cousins or whatever, that would like stay with us for a long time. And mom and dad would just be like, oh yeah, they're just staying with us. And we were like, so like how long are they staying with us?
No.
And it was just like
no
a
answer.
never
just
ending
till they leave.
Sleepover.
Like oh my god.
Which like nothing against them because it was always a good time, but it was always like, oh crap, extra person in the house.
Yeah.
I can't do the regular stupid shenanigans that I do with my friends.
Yeah.
Or like whatever other kind of bullshit I'm gonna get myself into at this age, etc.
No, I've just walked in on so many people changing because I just expect to be home alone, and I'm just like, oh nope, old man, sorry.
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah, I'm like,
no.
Yeah, sleepover.
So
yeah, it's fine. It's literally fine. I live.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like what you said. Like, there is a definite difference between somebody being like, "Hey, can I sleep over?" and somebody being like, "Yo, can I stay with you?" Because at that point, they become your roommate. Whereas they're only your roommate for a night, and you're hosting them and having a good time. Yeah. That's the difference. Cool. So I wanted to like. I was going to do this after the turns have tabled, but, like, I feel like you could share the same experience of, like, you just said what your first sleepover was.
Yeah.
I think, okay, my first sleepover was actually really funny. I, like, vividly remember this experience because it was traumatizing.
Oh, my God.
So, like, way back in the day, like we mentioned earlier, like, when our whole family lived in our apartment building, my cousin, Rutty, and I, who's, like, 5 years older than I, she used to like babysit me or whatever, but that's my girl. That's like my older sister. So I was like, Raggy, can I sleep over at your house? She was like, of course. She lived literally across the hall from us. So I was like, word, we're good. So I'm like 5 or 6 years old. I sleep over her house, or like I'm in her room. She's reading some Babysitters Club, Mary Kate and Ashley shit to me before we go to bed, like cuddling, whatever. Because I'm adorable and she's adorable at this age. She's probably like 12 and I'm like 7. So I cannot sleep, like, at all. Like, I just couldn't sleep because I was just like, dude, I can't sleep. I'm not in my house. I'm not in my bed. Where am I? I'm freaking out. So I snuck out from the bed. I snuck out of the house. And I go to my house because it's right across the hall. And I'm banging on the door. No one's answering. And then I start fucking bawling my eyes out. And I just start crying. Little cute, little, like, 5, 6, 7-year-old Azeb. Like, little baby me.
Yeah.
Crying. It's like 1 a.m. I'm out there for a solid, like, 30 minutes.
Oh, my God.
And then
I was there
Brooke
last
comes
night.
home, our uncle. And he, like, did, like, one of those, like, parking lot, not government, garage, overnight jobs. So he comes home at, like, 2 a.m. He sees me in the hallway crying. He's like, what the fuck? Why is this bitch out here just crying? And he's, like, also, like, Azeb, what are you doing? Are you okay? Why are you out here? And I was like, that's not right. He's also now I just want to go home and nobody will answer the door and I just want to go home. Whatever. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to call your dad. Do you know the number? And I was like, of course, because I only had like 4 numbers memorized in my brain at that age. So we go upstairs into like apartment 7, which we ended up living in at some point. And he calls dad's cell phone like 30 times. I swear to God, like I watched him call dad's phone like 30 times. And then we go downstairs and he starts banging on the door. And then dad comes out. Dad's like half asleep. This is dad with dreads, by the way. Like chubby dad with dreads. And so he like comes out, opens the door, and he's just like, come inside. And I'm just like, thank you. Run to my bed and knock out. I don't know where you were. For some reason, you were not home. I don't know where you were. But you're like 4. So, like, maybe you were sleeping with mom and dad. Who knows?
I was probably passed out,
Who knows?
yeah.
In the morning, I woke up at like 8 a.m. and, like, mom and dad were awake. And I was like, can I go have breakfast with Retty? And they were just like, yes, you asshole. And like, I ran across the hall. And Memby and Retty and Bissell were like, Azeb, where the fuck were you?
Oh, my God.
And this is like before Abby was born, too. So it was like even more like, girl, you disappeared. It was mad cute, though. We had like bomb-ass like scrambled eggs. It was delicious.
I mean, Ethiopians always know how to fuck up some scrambled
we
eggs.
fucking up the scrambled
Oh, my
eggs.
God,
Best way
yes.
possible. But yeah,
Well, I'm
so-
surprised that dad woke up since literally last night I was in that exact situation and mom is the one that woke up and
Oh,
dad
yeah.
was just fucking, he was a log. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
no, it's rough when you're locked outside and you're screaming and crying, but
Facts, man.
life goes on.
So yeah, I also wanted to mention like what like the first sleepover was for you at our house. Like, what was your first sleepover that happened at our house?
Do Ethiopians count?
Yeah, I mean it depends. What do you remember?
Well, I remember I really sucked at Super Mario Bros. On the Game Boy. And Sega was really
this
good.
counts. This counts
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, this
because I would like
counts.
play
Oh my
it
God,
at church.
Sega, he used to like actually sleep over our house.
Yeah, he was our friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
He still is our friend, Simon.
I just haven't seen him in so long. So I was like little fucking 1st or 2nd grade Simon, and it was
Well,
like
this is
a
back when we used to go to like the Greyhound track and like watch them actually
when
run. and
the Greyhound
gamble and shit.
track was.
Wow, we were fucked up.
Were we though? I mean, the
I mean,
horse
go ahead,
track
go
is
ahead,
still
go ahead,
real.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so Sega came over and we were, because I sucked and he was so good at it, and so like I just wanted to fucking have him beat my game, and so I could see what happens when you finally beat the fucking game, because I was
Yeah.
playing it for like years. And I remember I got like we called it Nintendo Thumb. It was just a giant fucking blister.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, we stayed up all fucking night, and it was like in between like Saturday and Sunday, so we were gonna have to go to church the next day. But we both
Because
just
that was
kind of
the only
understood.
reason why he was able to sleep over is
Yep.
because y'all were definitely going to go to church on Sunday.
Yep,
So Abba Hagos was like, yeah, let him go.
yep. And then we just, we got to church, and we were like, well, this game is the only thing that kept us up all night. So we're just going to keep fucking playing it. So we tried to keep playing it in church, and Ethiopian fucking people, like, they just immediately take the shit out of your hands and freak out, and they're just like, are you not here for God? And you're just like, yeah, I guess so, I'm sorry. But
You're like, I'm 12 and I live in America. Yes.
I was probably like 5,
yeah,
or
not
like
too bad.
7.
Whatever. Age is
but yeah.
a social construct.
It is not outside. Oh God. So we're not getting into that route. But yeah, so I'd say that was a rough time at church, as sometimes are, and that was my first sleepover of like someone coming to our house.
Okay.
Yeah. How
My
about?
first sleepover of someone coming to our house.
Mhm.
Excuse me as I put the Nashoba Valley wine away.
It's all about
This is
that
the
wine.
strawberry
Boo-boo.
rhubarb. All of my favorite sleepover memories are with Lila. So Lila's like my best friend since like first grade. Funny ass bazillion bitch. Day one, A1. Hope she's hearing this. So Lila used to like sleep over our house, but like when she would sleep over our house, we wouldn't really do anything. We would just like look outside the window and watch people in the street because shit was always happening on Main Street and it was so entertaining.
Always.
And this is like pre-Netflix, pre-everything. You know what I mean? Like we did not grow up in this shit, so we like had nothing else to do but watch people in the street and stay up all night and just talk about random bullshit. And then as we got older, we would like start baking cakes in the middle of the night. And then in the morning, Mom and Dad would be like, we could hear you at 2 a.m. baking a fucking cake. And we would just be like, well, you're still going to eat it though.
I just love how that's what you do when you're fucking bored.
We'd be like,
you bake a cake.
No, but I remember the first time I slept over Lila's house was when she lived in Chelsea with like her dad.
Yep.
And yo, this is when I knew like she was gonna be my best friend. Was because like she had a cat and she like picked up her cat. And I know I always remember the most random vivid things, and Lila's always like, how the fuck do you remember that? When I'm just like, I have a good memory. So anyways, she picked up her fucking cat and she's like, yo, you wanna see something? And I was like, sure. And so we were by the stairs and she just fucking throws her cat down the stairs. And he lands on his feet and he's fine. But that's when I was like, that's my best friend right there.
Nigga.
We also like did other stupid shit. Like we tried to camp in her backyard, so we had a tent that Sylvia bought or something and a portable DVD player. And for some reason we were like obsessed with South Park, so we watched the South Park movie like on repeat maybe 5 times because that's what you do when you're like 12.
Oh, I remember watching that South Park movie with you guys multiple fucking times.
Excuse me for that burp. Jesus. But yeah, so we like did that. But if you want to talk about worst sleepovers ever, do you remember your worst sleepover? Because I remember mine.
What's yours?
So there was this one that I just remember like specifically that like I was like maybe in 3rd grade and I was friends with this girl Ashley. I don't remember her last name, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And we watched The Ring right when it came out.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and you know The Ring is like the one that's like scary as fuck, where like the bitch comes out of the TV and whatever. So we watched it and we're like 8. And like she had a hamster and like I was just like watching her hamster while we were sleeping, or like while she was sleeping, because I could not sleep. And she was knocked the fuck out and I was like, dude, fuck, like I can't do this. And like the TV had the static and I was like, oh hell no, I'm actually gonna die in this house because the fucking bitch from The Ring is gonna come out and kill me. And then her dad, thank God, came in and checked on us, probably because he could hear me crying. And then he was like, you know what, I'm gonna put a happy movie in, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And he plays The Grinch.
Oh, what a
then
sweetheart.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch The Grinch and then I'm gonna just pass out and I'm gonna try to sleep as best I can.
Oh my god.
That was like the worst.
Dude, that's
sleepover.
fucking horrifying.
Horrible, right? Like,
Wow.
why would you let children watch The Ring?
Dad would do that.
I mean, Dad would, but like, he would at least make sure that we're good before we go to bed. Maybe.
No, Dad would just
Yeah,
suffer
Dad
the
sucks, never mind.
consequences. Dad's done that. Like,
What's your like worst memory?
I don't know if I really have one that sticks out. Ooh. Yeah, no, I've had a good streak of sleepovers. I can't really think of one that sucks. Maybe one day.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay,
right now
well,
I can't
know
really
that you
think of
pulled
one.
an article for this topic, so if you want to get into the article.
Yes, I did. So this article is called "Why My Family Doesn't Do Sleepovers." It is from the online home of Tim. I'm gonna try Tim Chalise. He's a Canadian author, and I think just to give some perspective, this is like Christian article, so that's probably like the values, like the basis of where all the decisions come from. So yes. This guy's a pastor, like the guy that wrote the article, and he refers to this guy named James Dobson, who is a evangelical Christian author, psychologist, whatever. So he believes, the psychologist guy, James Dobson, that children should not participate in sleepovers and that it's no longer safe for children. I don't think that it's no longer safe. I think that just people are more aware of the situations that are happening nowadays. Like, his whole argument is about pedophiles and molestation and, just basically about sexual assault. And speaking of...
That's interesting because it's like, you're just assuming that you're putting your child in an environment that's not safe. And it's like, why are you assuming that most parents don't, like, suss out the family? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like mom and dad, before we would sleep over anyone's house, would always be like, okay, do I know those parents? Can I speak to your parents, etc., whatever. Like, they would definitely vet the family before we would sleep over,
Yeah.
Even if they didn't vet them hardcore, it was enough for them to be like, okay, I trust these people. Like, my kid trusts your kid and whatever. Like, I have your number. If anything happens, call me.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you never know if there's going to be like someone who's a fucking molester in the other person's family.
Yeah, it's literally like
like anything could happen.
You legitimately never know who you can trust.
That's true. I never thought about that. But
and that's the fear. And so that's where he brings in about how, like, parents literally have to think about, like, every possible situation to keep their child safe.
If you're a good parent.
If you're a good parent. And so the guy that wrote the article, Tim Challies, he talks about how he doesn't really, like, he agrees with James Dobson, but he also has his own views of, like, well, I'm still gonna let my kids, like, go and hang out with their fucking friends and have a sleepover, but, like, we're gonna have rules about it and, like, boundaries with it. And it's, like, good.
You have to with
but
everything when you have kids.
It's also interesting because he went to the point of they created just the rule of we don't do sleepovers. And it's just like they just told their kids that growing up. Like, they will never do they won't let their kids sleep over someone else's house.
Okay, but they'll host sleepovers.
No, just no fucking sleepovers.
Okay.
And they said that if they broke from that rule when the kids are growing up, then, there's just going to be so many complications that the kids are eventually just going to be like, yeah, fuck your rule. Like, it's like, she gets to do this. Yeah. So it's just like,
why
one
are you
big
this person over versus why are you not letting this other person?
But yeah, so he goes into, like, that shit. And then he also talks about how, like, the kids get older and then, he starts to create different kind of rules as they get older, because obviously you can't start controlling, like, a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old with the rule of, like, you can't sleep over anyone's fucking house. Like, they'll just blatantly defy you. But all of this is just rooted in saying, like, when you're together for so long in the middle of the night, not much good can come from it. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, like, when I read this article, I had a lot of feelings about it because I was like, okay, this is a very, like, one-sided extremist perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing that really, like resonated with me was, like, the idea of not having sleepovers, because at some point in your life, you're going to encounter this dilemma, of do I let my kid have a sleepover? Or do I want to sleep over someone's house as a kid, right? Or, like, somebody will approach you and be like, I'm having a sleepover party, and then you feel left out. For example, not exactly directly related, but, like, Faith, like, grew up not watching Disney.
Yeah.
Ever. Period.
Yep.
And then her and I became friends, and I said, it is my mission to make sure you watch every single Disney movie that has ever come out, period, that you missed in your childhood. So at some point, you're going to encounter this dilemma, and it's going to be exposed to you. Regardless of it's going to be exposed to you as a parent to your child, like, with you knowing or not knowing, your child is going to be exposed to that shit. Because the more that you try to protect them from it, the more likely they are going to rebel from it.
Yeah.
Or the more likely they're going to make sure they experience that when they are not under your control anymore.
Yep.
Or,
because they're just going to seek it since they've been missing it for their whole life.
Like, if you hold it back, especially without communicating why you're doing this, if you just say, no, you can't do this, without saying why, then your kid can't defend themselves why.
Yeah.
And if they say, my parents just said no, that's the end all be all, that's not enough. You have to give them the reason why to stand up for themselves, especially if it's that important to you. This goes for literally anything.
Yeah.
And so that they can make their own judgment based off of your why. So they can be like, okay, that's your why, what's my why?
Yeah.
Is my why the same why? Okay.
Because they have to be able to learn something from your decision.
Exactly.
Like, if you're trying to keep them safe, they have to learn how to keep themselves safe from it. Because otherwise it's just helicopter parenting, and fuck that, guys.
And
Like,
that
let them
doesn't protect your
breathe.
kid
Let
from
your kids
everything,
breathe.
because the world is going to happen to them.
But I
Yeah.
feel like my are these my takeaways?
These are the takeaways, baby.
It's my takeaway time.
Enter the takeaway.
So, the key takeaways. So I'd say sleepovers aren't always like safe. So, like we were saying before, don't let bitches peer pressure you into shit that you don't want to do, because you do have to spend the night with them. So like, be smart about who you're fucking spending your time with, especially that late at night. But yeah, just have it be people that you trust. Even if you don't really like know people that you're spending the night with, always try to have a buddy. Like, it's just always better for you to have one person that knows where you are and then knows that you're safe, instead of just trying to be what's it called, lone wolf. Yeah. Fuck that.
Okay.
That's what I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, but also, like, sleepovers don't suck. They're great. They're so much fun.
Yeah, but
There's
like,
a lot of memories that come from it.
yeah, but like drama.
Sleepovers still
Like-
happen as you grow and get older. They're just not really called sleepovers. They're just people staying over or whatever. I don't know.
Can I ask one thing?
What?
So I reminded myself of this from Big Mouth, when like the girls sleep over and like they're all crying and it's like, damn it!
That's real. That happened. No, that happened.
Yeah, I wanted to ask.
Happened.
I just wanted you to
Dude,
bring that here.
The first time that happened, actually. Oh no! Yeah. No. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you told me about this.
Yeah. Oh my God! I did tell you about this. In like 5th grade, it was like all of us, like me and Kellen and Camilla, and then other people I will not mention because fuck them. We were sleeping over another person's house that I will not mention her name because fuck her.
Fuck her.
Her house, and all of them were like, just started crying because they were like, our lives suck. Our dads aren't in our lives. Like so much shit, and I was like, I have a father. I'm sorry, I can't relate, but life sucks too. And it was really sad. But yeah, it happens.
It just
Girls
happens.
Just have like one sleepover that happens where we all just cry. But honestly, like, we still do that shit to this day where we just get a bottle of wine and have Sad Girls Club.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Sad Girls Club,
True.
though. Be in
Well,
your feelings, it's fine.
What I love
But
about
also,
it,
like, do things to make yourself happy, too.
yeah. Well, what I was gonna say was like how fucking
feeling.
Devin just like comes out of the bathroom when it's all done, and she's like, "Now that the crying portion is over," like it's just like
real,
it's
'cause
like
then
fucking
no,
planned.
it's real. It's not planned. It just happens. Like all of us are like, what? But especially when it's your first sleepover with a bunch of girls, you're all just
Dude.
like, we all have all these feelings and no one lets us express them because we're women and the world hates us and doesn't want us to be emotional because emotions suck.
Well, that's what happens when you have so
But
many
that's just
people
reality.
together.
But also,
like, it all
feel
just
your
comes
fucking
out.
feelings, people, because
Yeah.
you're allowed to. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Be in your fucking feelings when you need to be in them, and stay out of them when you don't want to be.
Yeah.
That's my fucking key takeaway.
Cake takeaway.
Cake takeaway.
Take the
Get
cake.
some cake. Get that cake.
Get it. Get it.
Forget
Skrat.
cake. Hey.
Hey,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
done.
All right. Bye.
Sammy, you want to do the sign off or
You
should I?
fucking know I'm gonna fuck this up.
Okay,
I
well
believe.
you can try and I'll be your backup man.
Sign off. So as always, we are always grateful for our listeners. If you are new to us, please follow us on Instagram at The Freydis Effect, on Twitter at TFE Pod, and like us on Facebook. If you like what you hear, please subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Follow us on SoundCloud and leave a comment or repost, and always feel free to share the show with a friend. If you have questions or you would like if you have questions you would like us to answer on the show or feedback/affirmations, please email us at thefreydiseffect@gmail.com. If you really like what you hear, then please find us on Patreon and become a fucking patron, because our yeah, guys, please make a donation. If it is in your heart's desire to keep hearing this shit, we need money, please.
Yeah, if you like us, and you love us.
God damn.
Give us $2.
Fuck. Yes.
$2 per person. That's imagine if
like-
10 people gave $2. That'd be
Imagine
$20. That's fucking
$1
amazing.
a month,
and that would
like,
save us so
it's
much
nice.
money in terms
like
of
a candy
production.
bar.
So help.
Please help. So anything helps.
We're not desperate. We're
Because
just being
doing this
real.
is not free. So thank you for listening and have a great rest of your week.
Love
Smiley
you.
face.
hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and have a sleepover. Whatever. Bye.
Bye.